master, and we probably have already identified. So now we are starting a module on water technology. So again, we are covering a lot of ground here. The purpose of doing the game was not to shame you into anything, or to for you to find out, oh, this is something पहले से आता था. Really, there is a very diverse crowd here, and what we are intending to do is, if you want to find out कि आप किस तरह की background के साथ आ रहे हैं, by the time we get out, hopefully you will know a little bit more about what is water technology. So let us take that. So over to Dr. talk about water as art, culture, science.
Thank you so much. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back after good lunch and plus molecular science talk. Must closeness, but I will try to keep it so simple and also at the same time interesting so that we can be active during the lecture. It's not a scientific talk, in fact, but you can see from all the headings. My background is chemistry, chemistry, little bit introduction and institutions, all of them, and then these are the talking points. In fact, this is a start of water as an art, a travelogue into the history of water as art, science, and technology. And we will just discuss the fundamentals of water molecule as a molecule. Why water is chosen by the nature, the greatest chemist in the universe, God. And that's the purpose. And only the last heading, unusual water sourcing technologies, is the part of work which will be related to some research technologies we are doing in Mercer Institute of Science and Technology during the last two years. And it will be contain some sort of chemistry. So mainly talk is very art and non-scientific, just a little bit contamination of chemistry. And we will try to keep it in the purity that it should be taught art and very light talk. So we will start from this introduction, water in art and culture, science, and then water molecule as a molecule, what is special with water, why nature has chosen water as this molecule so that it has so much characteristic properties and it is a magic molecule. And then water use, resources, scarcity, and outsourcing technology. This is the recap into what we are doing in Mercer Institute of Science and Technology, our research group, mainly. So they are membrane technology, we work with power, reverse osmosis, ambient desalination, MBR, SEMBR, RO, FO, powered osmosis, and MD is membrane distillation, electrokinetic technologies for bacterial stimulation, photocatalysis, solar cells, and nanotechnologies with graphene from solid waste like this. So I start with the data from obviously UAE, which we have already immediately. This is the main source of water consumed in UAE overall. We can see here the treated wastewater consumption is 4% only, and if we see Abu Dhabi again, treated wastewater consumption is 9.7%. This reflects our regional cultural barriers. In Singapore, major water consumed in drinking water is treated wastewater. So even treated wastewater is available, plenty of water is available in UAE, and they are using a huge quantity of water because, for example, Mercer Institute of Science and Technology is a city and a university, and all its water is recycled. And the wastewater is recovered, water is recovered, this is called water recovery, and the sludge is shifted to a sludge as a fertilizer. And it's given to the institute in Dubai, which is using it as fertilizer. So even then, so the same problem will be obviously in Pakistan, that treated wastewater will never be used in drinking purpose due to some cultural reasons. Then water in art and science, just a lighter way of water, with just a reminder, there's nothing chemistry in it. If there will be, it will be college level chemistry, intermediate level chemistry. So starting from Holy Quran, obviously we know, and then the myth and mystery, Cyrus Babilonian mythology first and gods, and substantially all people are saying the myth is Tiamat and Abasu, which sees that sweet water and salt water are the origin of life over there. And then we have Greek goddess of love and bone for the sea. It is India, we know it's a region. And then we have Mesopotamian peoples which are also considering that water is the symbol of unforgettable impressions. And then ancient history, if we see Egyptian, they in fact started water with, the name was Yuat. So Yuat means green. In the beginning, water was termed as green substance, and they were using it as a synonym. And in this picture, and it's drawing, you can see the piece of art. It is symbolically represented by a zigzag symbol. Leonardo da Vinci, the creator of Mona Lisa, he termed it as the vehicle of nature, and he terms that water is in fact in the world, for world or earth, is just like blood for our human body. And in Chinese myth, also again 1,000 lives, those who drink it, it shows that water is in fact a very core and critical part of human civilization, its origin and its sustainable continuity. This is the book of Dr. Masaru Emoto, who describes, the book is The Hidden Messages in Water. And he has described some Zamzam water's properties. I'm not going in detail here. He says, in fact, the crystal form of water, when it turns into ice, is a property of its chemical composition. If chemical composition changes due to co-crystallization of contaminants, the crystalline shape changes. He says that if we take Zamzam water and dilute it into 100,000 times even, the resulting new solvent always remains the same chemical composition, and he has found that its crystal shape remains constant, which ultimately reflects that its purity maintains. So this was his finding, and it is written in this book. And then he has described Zamzam water level, its parameters. You can see here 8,000 liters per second water is pumped from the Zamzam well. And the new thing is here, if you pump it more than 24 hours, it takes the 44 feet below. The water level goes 44 feet below. But when you stop it, just after 11 minutes, it recovers back. So it replenishes very quickly, and it restores its level very quickly. This is also magic and extraordinary feature, which is not explainable. This is the inner Zamzam water well. And the important thing is that the Zamzam Studies and Research Center in Saudi, they have in fact reported that Zamzam water is in fact filtered through the series of sand filters and cartridge, and then they make it a UV treatment, which is antibacterial treatment, and then it is disseminated or distributed to all of them. Water is also part of music. It has been hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is a water organ. This is one of the instruments which was named as a water instrument, where water was, in fact, falling water was having the energy which was, in fact, creating the musical tones, strings, and water drums were also there. Water in science and technology. This is just a lighter chemistry of water molecule, and how the chemistry of water molecule is special, that it exhibits so different properties that no other solvent or liquid or substance or material with periodic table with the same combination of hydrogen and oxygen exhibits. For example, we know all these facts are very fundamental. Even in school chemistry book it is written. In fact, what new thing is with water, here we can see that water freezing, water expands. This is one of the very general measurements. Mostly things, when they're frozen, they contract, and their density is in fact increased. So here in this case, water, due to hydrogen bonding, it expands, and its volume, the mass per volume, in fact, it increases. So this is again due to special nature of water, and this special nature is hydrogen bonding in the water molecule. Suppose we see the water structure of water itself. Water is in fact the origin of the name hydrogen reflects water producing. Hydro means water, and generation, so it's hydrogenation, hydrogeneration. That's why we call it water. Water is a universal solvent and dissolved in water. and most of the substance it can dissolve. No other solvent or liquid state substance has such a unique dissolving properties which water contains. There are two reasons. One is water is a bipolar. It is a dipole. It has dipole moment. It has a resultant vector. We can see of its dipole moment, and it can absorb. It can dissolve all the polar substances into it. And the second important thing is the water structure of water molecule. Tetrahedral means four-sided. It's tetrahedral. This structure, in fact, is the most stable geometric shape chosen by nature. The pyramids of Egypt, ultimate form of all weathering, historical, all sort of weathering, whatever being happened to this miracle building structure, it is tetrahedral shape, 3D triangular structure. So this is the most stable form which offers resistance against bacterial attack. That's why you see the Tetra Pak. Mostly what milk packing was in Tetra Pak. This is also one of the form of tetrahedral shapes. So this unique type of structure which is present in water, it offers such a stability that water can remain without rotting, without any type of further bacterial or contamination for longer period as compared to any other liquid. Whatever liquid it can be, alcohol, it can be other materials or substance liquids. So these properties are originating from its structure and its reactivity, and which are part of which can draw this from its hydrogen bonding properties. And this hydrogen bonding property of water is so unique. We can see nitrogen with atomic number 7, oxygen atomic number 8, and 9. And then further we have chlorine and fluorine, which are atomic number 9. So all the hydrogen compounds of this oxygen, they are gaseous form. HCl is actually gas. When it dissolves in water, it becomes HCl. And ammonia is also gas, but water is liquid state because of its hydrogen bonding properties. So this property we can see here in this, here we can see the band structure, where we can see hydrogen positive is in fact trapped between the electronegative oxygen elements and ions. So this special unique property of hydrogen bonding is offering such a unique properties. That's why we see the ice floats on the surface of water, because it has less density than water, and similarly it's a tetrahedral shape structure. And if we see, this is the this we can see this is the crystal form of ice, this one, and this is the structure, the metric structure of ice, where water molecules are aligned at a certain distance due to the attractive forces which are generated between one electropositive H is trapped between two electronegative oxygens. What happens if this unique property of water was not there, like hydrogen bonding, or its tetrahedral structure, which arising from its two electron pair of electrons present on the oxygen atom present in it? The ultimate result would have been this. This means that there will be no lakes, no rains, and no body fluids. Water would have been a gas. In fact, if we follow the sequence of ammonium to hydrofluoric acid, it should have been a gas, but it is liquid state because it has two main different and distinct properties. So therefore, due to hydrogen bonding, we have this. Another third property which water molecule exhibits, and which is not part of any other liquid, is heat capacity. If you want to increase the temperature of 1 degree Celsius and you need amount of heat, for water it needs very high, very large quantity of heat is required so that it can raise 1 degree Celsius temperature as compared to any other liquid or substance or solvent. So this property of water has created a thermal balance on Earth. We have ocean, which is providing in fact homeostasis for all the climate. If ocean were not there, there have been no water, that 97% water is present all around. In fact, it is creating a thermal conditioning. So we have a very stable liquid substance offered by nature, that which can absorb a huge quantity of heat without increasing its temperature. So it can absorb it just like a shock absorber. So a lot of heat can be contained in water. So this specific heat capacity of water provides this unique property that water is in fact is conditioning the climate on Earth and is ensuring the continuity of life on Earth. And then, of course, this material is not replaceable. There is no other material, there is no other liquid or abundant material in nature which can offer these different types of properties as this material can have. It's colorless, but in large quantity it is extinct due to absorbance in the visible region. This is because of its interaction with light. And then water, we have different types of water we come across. We come across hot water, we heard hot and soft water, heavy water, holy water, like Zamzam, you have in holy water. And even every religion has declared water as a holy water. They accept that the origin of life, continuity of life, and even end of life is symbolized. It is symbolic for water. We can see what is special with hot, soft, heavy, and holy water. Now, this is another feature. This is our social. Recently, we have came across that water can run cars, like in Pakistan. In 2012, we heard that, but no car can be driven on water except in Pakistan. Like water kit, it does not happen. Hydrogen kit instead can exist, and now at this stage the research has traveled, we can say 60 to 70% of its journey towards artificial photosynthesis. That all scientists are trying so that just like as in the presence of chlorophyll acting as a catalyst absorbs light and is breaking the water and combining with carbon dioxide to make glucose and storing the energy into it. The scientists are trying so that we can develop analog of chlorophyll which can act like chlorophyll and can mimic nature and can break the water. To break water, we need the water, the heat of hydration, the heat of ionization of hydroxyl ion and H positive ion. So this cannot be possible, but only one possibility is probably possible, which you can see water wheel car is possible. This type of system. This is ancient vehicle. The oldest machine, mechanical machine, which human being has created was water wheel before steam engine. Because just like this hydroelectric power machines, the force of falling water due to gravity was used as a driving force for the machine to run it. So this is the only possibility probably. Otherwise we have to wait for the production of combustion fuel, and so that's hydrogen. It can be created. Hydrogen burns with oxygen with an exothermic reaction, and it generates steam as a waste exhaust, and instead of carbon dioxide we can have steam. And this has done, in fact, already California Institute of Technology has attempted during their work for, I think you can see the next slide we will show. Challenger accident took place in 1998. This was happened because hydrogen, which is explosive, it is hard to control, it is highly flammable. And this uncontrolled hydrogen was exploded in the space and Challenger got back. And this very unfortunate incident took place 28th January 1986. And this accident, and then we can see here, and this is in fact the NASA's attempt, and they are ultimately trying, and all over the world people are working on it. And this field is called artificial photosynthesis, breaking water with light, so that we create such molecules which can absorb light and they can break water molecule into hydrogen and hydroxyl ions. And then this is the science in fact behind it, why water kit is not possible, but hydrogen kit is possible, which may be in future, but not at the moment is possible, because we need 286 kilojoule energy to break 1 mole of water. If this energy is made possible without catalyst, it would have been done far before. But without catalyst, it is not possible. So what happens? Scientists are trying to develop those analogous molecules which can mimic chlorophyll in nature. One of the molecules is porphyrin. One of the candidate molecules is porphyrin. This is my, in fact, a molecule on which I did my PhD also. Porphyrin is the red pigment in our blood. And the green pigment in the plant's leaves is chlorophyll. The nature has chosen the same molecule. This is macrocycle, big molecule, exactly same molecule with only difference of one metal. In chlorophyll, it's magnesium. In red blood cells, which contains red pigment, it's iron. So with the difference of iron, one is giving for fauna and one is giving for flora. So this is the same lines scientists are working on so that they can develop such molecules so that we can break this barrier of energy, and catalyst is required for this. And this catalyst, this is the catalyst which is developed up to now with highest efficiency, which is a derivative of pyridine. If we break porphyrin molecule into 4 equal pieces, just like a rectangular coordinates, one of the rectangular coordinate will be pyridine. So this molecule is developed, and at the moment they are trying to make connecting all the dots so that we can break water molecules with the sunlight, which can absorb sunlight and generate such energy. It can bypass a path so that it can break the water molecule. And if this becomes possible with this molecule or any other molecule, what will happen? We will have hydrogen fuel cell. The hydrogen fuel cell, which is still used in space shuttles, in all Mars programs, they are using it. They are so expensive to develop, and very less amount or quantity of energy is generated from it, which is not feasible commercially in the marketplace. So what will happen here? Oxygen from one side, hydrogen from the other side, and they will be excreting this H2O as exhaust waste instead of carbon dioxide to avoid footprints. So this is the alternative approach to get hydrogen kit feasible, and we can avoid water kit. So same, still we are facing carbon footprints, although electric car is developed by Tesla. Now these are different types of water. We have seen saline water. We can see there are threshold concentration of dissolved salt in all different levels of water, so that they can be defined as slightly saline water, moderately saline water, or fresh water. So if there is less than 1000 ppm, this will be declared as fresh water. Because if you have 0 ppm dissolved salt, this will be distilled water, and this is again dangerous for life. Any animal cannot survive by drinking distilled water. We need electrolytes, ions, sodium, potassium, ions. This is needed for our communication system, for our as a neurotransmitter system. It is prepared. It is prepared. In fact, there are 2 steps. One is photochemical set A, and one is photochemical set B. 50% is done. In fact, we have to, the next part is enzymatic reaction, and that part is not done. Still, the scientists are working so that we can approach. We have to cross the barrier of 286 kilojoule per mole energy carrier. And these, not only this molecule, there are thousands of molecules are tested, generated, designed. Organic chemists design them on paper and go into the laboratory and prepare them. This is the beauty of organic chemistry. Just like an architect, they can design molecule and go and generate in the laboratory. So all these molecules are artificially designed and generated. But the question is, still such a molecule is not possible, which can help cross the second barrier. So we can say 60 to 70% work is done. But in fact, there are ATPs, other processes involved, because it's in fact photosynthesis artificially made feasible. So which is not possible at the moment. Maybe some new molecules can be tested and then we can process carry. So all these different types of saline waters are possible here, and then we have hard and soft water. The magnesium and calcium compounds, there are sulfates and carbonates which are present mostly in seawater. If their concentration is beyond such a certain limit, we will call them hard water. They are very common and social known phenomena, hard water and soft water. So we have, and then we have heavy water, deuterium oxide. This is the isotope of hydrogen. Hydrogen has only neutrons, no proton. That's why we call it sometimes proton only. It's only proton. So there is no neutron in it. So if we have deuterium, this is radioactive fuel in fact. So which is developed, and this is also used for medical diagnostic purposes to identify tumors because they are labeled with radioactive deuterium hydrogen atoms. And then oil water we have already discussed. So different types of water is possible. This is what the first or the ancient machine. Most you can see the mechanical machine which human beings must have designed after the wheel probably, of course, because wheel is part of its machine. This is the second version of the most modern machine. We can see this works with the force of water falling from top. This is from top to bottom, and sometimes from bottom to top. Two-way process has been designed, this water machine, and this worked up to the steam power revolution comes. At that time, the steam power was in fact a revolution. It was not less than a big computer age revolution when scientists developed steam, because at the same time the engine was developed later on. So this was the most classical machine. Water is an essential fluid, and it's in fact a medicine. And it is known hydropathy. It's a proper way of treatment. So it's different facts reveal that we need this much water, and this proportion of water is needed for all healthy life. Every person you can live without food, but cannot live without water, of course. Threat of dehydration. Water is also, you can see, are different lungs, are different parts composed of such a composition which is much more than 70% portion is made of water, all water molecules. And then another fact, water resources. These are the world water resources. So if we see, we have, in fact, 3% of total water is considered fresh. Otherwise, 97% is trapped. Is not available for water. And we have 71% of surface which is contained water, and it is salty, of course, again. Salty means freshwater resources in the world, and 0.003% of our available water. And here we can locate Pakistan. If we can locate Pakistan, we are already in water-stressed countries. In fact, the figure is controversial sometimes. Latest 2013 different stats show that Pakistan is proper water-stressed country now, according to its population rate, because population is sensitive, we don't have sea. So maybe recently it was most vulnerable water-stressed country. So, and if we can imagine water resource, how much water is available and what proportion of water is unavailable. You can see here that if we consider that 100 liter is a total water, only half teaspoon of water is available for human consumption. It includes all utility water, food water, drinking water, industrial or commercial water. So only this water out of available water is available for human utilities. So it is 26 gallons total, and you will take only half teaspoon. So this means this unavailable water needs to be made available. And here is the need for technology. Here is the gap we have to fill up. And this gap is done by water technologists. Water technology which will change the nature of water, which will play with the physics of water, not chemistry. Because when we separate water from it, we are playing with physical properties of water. So the physics of water is the tool, in fact, which mostly the chemists and physicists or engineers have to make it possible. And we can see here the 7 billion population on the planet is also increasing now, especially in the advanced countries, the death rate is less so. And we see this water, unavailable water, is how it is alarming to the universe, especially Earth life. Projected water availability in 2020, if we see, Pakistan again is in extremely scarcity state. We have less than 500 cubic meter per capita water available. So in 2020 again we will be highly water stressed country. Now water use. We can see here the water overall average total water withdrawal per inhabitant is 506 cubic meter per inhabitant per year. And US of course is having more water consumption than European community countries even, and the developing countries 10 times more because of its activity of course. And here we can see the Pakistan's figure is again going to most maximum for the water use. So whatever is available we are using, we are consuming without any proper monitoring or metering, no metering water. Global and local water scarcity, if we see, again Pakistan's physical water scarcity, we are in this region, so we are again an alarming situation. So in all UN water reports, we are a water stressed country. And in fact, the greatest threat is not scarcity or stress. Greatest threat is ignorance of consciousness. And this is the real challenge. So geographically we see projected water scarcity 2025 again, like availability, we will be obviously the same region. Water management, natural water cycle takes place. Or hydrologists know that there is a water cycle like nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle. So water is refurbished, refilled, and replenished in the ecosystem by different processes, include sublimation and precipitation. Different processes are taking place, hydrological cycle. This process takes place, but if we see, one of the biggest tools of nature's for recycling water is rainfall. So if we see this old data, our rainfall is decreasing till 1999, and now it will be obviously much more than this. So scientific water distribution management system, obviously the WIT is working on it. Artificial rainfall enhancement, cloud seeding should be there. And cloud seeding, artificial rain enhancement is one of the technological offshoot of this crisis, which needs to be bridged. So what happens, we can do two types of cloud seeding. I will give the material aspect of cloud seeding, that is chemistry or physics aspect of cloud seeding. We can see, in fact, in cold rain cloud seeding process, and one is warm rain cloud seeding process. In cold rain, we use frozen carbon dioxide with silver iodide. frozen carbon dioxide is dry ice. It's very well known. The only important thing is to keep the particle size in micro scale, not nano scale even. If it is becomes so little small particles at nano scale, again they cannot. They are hygroscopic nature because light falls. Silver iodide is a photochemically active molecule. It responds to light. Just like this is silver chloride is used in photography, you can see for imaging photo. So silver iodide quickly dissociates into silver positive ions and iodide negative ions. And these iodide negative ions, they grow up in iodide 3 small cluster molecules, and these nuclei aerosols are developed in space and they are mixed up with carrier gas. Normally nitrogen is used and they are sprayed with this helicopter or aeroplane, mostly the jet. So in warm rain, we don't need frozen carbon dioxide. This is dry ice. Instead of this, use directly hygroscopic material. Calcium chloride is a white powder normally used to absorb moisture in different clinics, laboratories, dispensaries. So calcium chloride absorbs 2 water molecules with it because it's the water of crystallization. Calcium chloride in powder, when it absorbs 2 water molecules, it becomes crystal. So it's natural tendency so that it will absorb 2 water molecules with 1 particle. So what we do, we develop micro scale particles, reasonable sized particles, and mix up it with nitrogen as a carrier, and then it is drawn. United Arab Emirates has started for the last 6 or 7 years this program, and every year $20 million project they announce, and they have done many times this experiment, and still this work is going, which is needed for all. Unusual water sourcing. We can say artificial water cycle. One is water cycle. Nature has chosen its natural phenomena to recover water depletion. But unusual water sourcing techniques are at the same time used in the countries where ignorance is less or not. So what happened, recycling, recently Bill Gates Foundation has sponsored a project where you can see Bill Gates is drinking water, and this water is sewage recovered water. And he was drinking this just to show that this is H2O. H2O is not whatever the source. So this project was done for Omni processor. It's clean drinking water objective to get energy. This is distillation process, membrane distillation, thermally driven process where you get free ash also, and they have done a machine, in fact, to recover this water for poor communities of Africa probably. They're providing this. In Los Angeles recently, a few months before, they have done, used, because California is also a water stressed region in the world. So big reservoirs of water, they are covered with plastic balls of black color. And these plastic balls are covered so that they can protect water for 1 year, 2 years. And they will absorb, they will prevent evaporation, that will prevent photoactive reactions, which originates bromide formation. And bromides are toxic, they start vitrification in the water. So there are 2, 3 different benefits. So they tested this technique, and all the canal or all the lakes were covered with these plastic balls. This is one of the alternative approach to cover the water reservoir, to protect water. This is again water sourcing in a different approach. If we can see the UAE desalination share in the world, how much desalination UAE is going, 17%. The world desalination is done in UAE. The UAE is a very little country, very small country, population size of approximately our small cities. But their water consumption is, level and per capita water consumption is highest in this region and also in the world. They are in top 10 in using per capita, per person water consumption is very high. Of course, the dry and warm climate conditions promote this phenomena again. We can see US is 18%. total desalination of the world. It's a big and huge continent. And others 27%, all other countries. So KSA is 18%. So all these countries which have petrol, they are fueling the desalination plants with high energy created. Water purification by filtration membranes. This is the basic grid by which different filtration techniques are used for water filtration and water desalination techniques. Because seawater is the main source of water, so we can see here all the particles of size 1 micrometer are filtered with microfiltration, 100 nanometer ultra nanofiltration, and reverse osmosis 1 nanometer. And if we see, this is the size of bacteria, and all these, different ions are in fact removed in reverse osmosis, which is a very high energy consuming technique. And nowadays, the reverse osmosis is being replaced by forward osmosis. The human nature has took backward step first, and now moving forward. First, we are putting hydraulic energy to push solute particles out of the water, and now only the simple osmotic pressure is using as a spontaneous pressure, so that solvent should move from high concentration to low concentration. This is forward osmosis, and this we are doing in Mercer Institute. And this is very new technology. Only few, 1 or 2 plants are there in the world. And we are running this project with PV Water Systems, California, in Mercer. And then we have greener water treatment approaches. Greener water treatment approaches means to avoid chemical fed techniques. Like chemical coagulation was used long before in nature. Potassium dichromate was used in wells in Punjab or all in Pakistan, regional, which was commonly named as lal white, still the red color pigment. And different other types of chemicals we were using and filtering out to chemicals. So this is, what we can use is electrical now. The biggest one which we are also using, mechanical, electrical treatment can be done, mechanical treatment can be done, magnetic treatment can be done. And magnetic treatment by magnetic nanoparticles due to the event of this nanotechnology is done. And very surprisingly, if the water is treated through a magnetic field, in Japan, there are companies even which are selling water, that water passes through the magnetic field, it changes its characteristics, its natures. So it becomes anti-scaling. So all the scaling have taken place in the pipelines can be inhibited by passing water through magnetic field, because water is a tiny magnet. It has dipole moment, so it responds to the external magnetic field. So therefore, magnetic and electrochemical techniques can be used. This is our domain. We are using solar electrochemical techniques. We are using, in fact, cathode anodes, and an anode is producing aluminum positive ions in the water, which is generating coagulants and aggregations and creating treating water, and bioelectrochemical and all these techniques. So these are greener approaches, alternative approaches can be done. This is the chemical electrokinetic wastewater treatment. Water recovery technique we are using. This is unusual water sourcing, because this process is in fact used for wastewater treatment, for disposal. But we are using it to optimizing it for water recovery. We don't want to waste water. So we use it only to 16 to 24 milliampere per square centimeter current is needed for this anode and cathode. This electrical current density is provided. And what happens, all this mechanism phenomena we just published last year in Journal of Environment Management. This mechanism of this article is online already. So what happens, all these phenomena taking place, osmosis, electroradiation, migration, electrocoagulation, these are phenomena taking place. This is the grid line, a complete strategy block diagram, which is one of the solution for a complete recycling of water. You can recover water, you can recover fertilizer from sludge, different techniques. And good thing is that all these A, B, C, and D, these 4 dots we have now connected. And this D was published in 2012. This is my publication. A and C in 2015, last year, B in 2015, last year, and this we have submitted result review A. But we have published so many public articles on this. This is primary treatment. So what happens? We can get pure water. This is electrokinetic treatment. This is a bit complicated, but this is research. In fact, if you want to see deep into it, this is electrokinetic water treatment and chemical-free method, but electrical current on anode and cathode is used. So here is some, and this is very interesting. B, we just last year published. This is methogenesis. This sludge, if it is organic sludge, it contains less metals, and it is biosludge, we can say. And then at a certain electric current density, the bacteria growth increased up to a certain threshold limit. And this is now very common and very known research for the last few years, that an optimum current dose bacteria takes and it increases its production. And what happens? They generate methane. So methogenesis takes place, and aerobic digestion and aerobic digestion both possible. This paper we have also published here, and to generate methane from here. So we prove that methane can be produced. So this is the solid which is left over from the water treatment, from the primary this treatment. You can see BOD organics. So all these dots are connected for a complete zero pollution water treatment or wastewater treatment technology process, or we can say a complete zero pollution water recovery technique, where we can get, even from the first step, we can get water through which we can see through. It's transparent, its clarity is very high, very less turbidity. It can be used for filtering water. This is water recovery from oily water technique by graphene oxide membranes. These are the performance and material parameters. What is done is graphene membrane is developed, graphene oxide, which is hydrophilic due to oxide, and water is attracted towards that hydrophilic small nanopores, and gravity driven process. It needs no energy. So this is very latest, and it is recently patented. And so oil can be separated from water, because this is a big issue in petrol producing countries, that water is contaminated by oil. So water becomes unfit for use. And so this is another big, not industrial scale, but at pilot scale it is done, and it is published. Water purification cost by filtration method. This is the grid we can see up to 2016. This is the cost which is effectively coming upon all different types of filtration plants to set up based on filtration methods. We can see the seawater reverse osmosis, light greenish color, they are dominant. But unfortunately, this seawater reverse osmosis is highly energy consuming. So seawater forward osmosis needs to be introduced. And this is the work which is American companies doing in UAE, and they have established already a plant, pilot plant over there, and all other technologies you can see. Still, FO is not here. So optimizing water purification economic cost, the driving force of research. If there is no economic work, there is no research. It's just a hobby. And we can see here that all these techniques, what is the difference or economic difference? Total energy, kilowatt hour per cubic meter of water. If we want to treat 1 cubic meter of water, this much kilowatt hour energy is needed. And we can see multi-stage flash MSF. So in KSA, most plants have this type of technology, very old technology. MSF with waste heat from the power plant they are using this much. And you can see seawater reverse osmosis is the lowest one at 2 to 3 kilowatt hour per. And innovative technologies, hybridization, this is graphene membranes and other forward osmosis techniques we are talking about. We are less than 2. Here it needs to be focused so that we can convert unavailable water into available water at reasonable cost, at economical cost, so that most of the water can be converted. So what is technology is driving? Energy cost and operational cost. And both we can see from thermal towards seawater reverse osmosis, which is hydraulic pressure, again energy, exhaustive technology, and innovative processes mean nano filtration or nanotechnologies. So this is the trend which is being done. Economic water sourcing. It should be economical, of course. Otherwise, technology will die in the laboratory. It cannot travel towards to pilot plant or to industry. So this means what type of technology gap is inhibiting, is creating a barrier in successful conversion of unavailable water into available water. So these issues and these topics we will cover in lecture 3, which will be focused on technology. And we are talking about research, what these 4 or 5 technologies are there and how they are progressing. And the next lecture 2 will be based on quality standards, which is general analytical analysis of water in the laboratory. So ultimately this is diagnostic impact. So the lecture 3 will be based on these technologies. Thank you so much for your attention. Any questions?
You said we're using ways to separate oil from water.
Yes.
So when you explain the types of method or ways which are available world or most of in Pakistan to separate oil from water.
In Pakistan, they are using mechanical techniques. But my master thesis was here in Atal Refinery, UN Center, long before. So I know API type techniques. There are not much advanced techniques. They are just they don't need water. So we have plenty of water. Enjoy it. So membrane technologies are not here. But of course, latest technique, different techniques they are using. I think electrokinetic plus another membrane technique should be there. Of course, reverse osmosis is very expensive. It's not feasible. And yes.
So I think I agree that if you're plenty of water, talk about water testing outside, and if you look at the quantity that's available, it's very well endowed. But the issue of wastewater treatment is very much different. From what I know, there's very little water that's treated, wastewater that's produced in major cities and is put back in this river.
Yes.
So there are very few wastewater treatment plants in Pakistan. There's a huge issue of water
Huge.
quality, pollution, and so forth. So in thinking about economics and technologies that are cheaper, it would be very interesting to know what particular technologies would be better suited for Pakistan context. Because the reason a lot of the wastewater is not needed is costing.
One thing I already in the beginning I explained, there are cultural reasons. Same in this region, they will never drink pure drinking water. Singapore is drinking.
So I'm not talking about recycling. I'm just talking about treating wastewater before it's put back in the national.
So that to preserve the aquifers.
Yes. You don't even do that.
Yes, that definitely.
You don't even do that.
What they are doing, I don't think they are using electrokinetic technique. This is patent in 2012 in Canada, and patent is still active, valid, and but this technique consumes very less energy. As I told, 16 milliampere per centimeter scale. So what we do experiment on 100 centimeter scale electrodes. So nothing else, no other cost. And this can be connected to solar grid also. So we have open sun, so it can be solar electrokinetic technique. So I think this is a very economical technique by which you can get utility water packed, which can be used for car washing, floor washing, or general washing on non-human contact water. Yes. Quality, yeah. It needs to make a balance. In fact, obviously, like in all other spheres of life, of course, the issue is reverse osmosis is used, And this is used, this will be used because its flux is more. You are using hydraulic energy to pressurize. Forward osmosis is the technique which works on spontaneous osmotic driving force. So you can save a lot of energy, but flux is less. So less flux, you mean the production per cubic meter per hour is less. So that's why economically, but forward osmosis, now there are 3 companies in the world which are applying this technology at industrial scale. So this means it's feasible. Yes. Yeah, in fact, that technology is based on thermal desalination, distillation. So what they do is, they take sewage, they don't do any, even electrokinetic technology, they are not using. I think they should be first used. So what they use, they burn away all the solid waste into it. And all the liquid is converted into vapor, like membrane distillation. And this evaporation and then condensation takes place. Water is taken as a distilled water. And the main, since they burn, so they are getting heat, that heat is converted into electricity. And what ash is left behind, they are dumping it because it is not of soil conditioning purpose. It's not fit for it because it is already burnt. So in seawater, the issue is sodium, potassium, calcium and magnesium. So this is not meant for any thermal technology. So if we use it for this, I think this will be excess and waste of energy or heat. So membrane distillation can be used if it is solar membrane distillation. Of course, this is slow, the flux is less, of course. So for this is a reverse osmosis used, so they are using it. But it is high energy also. Yes. All oil spills mean you have 5 to 10% oil contaminated your water. No, that is different strategies they use. Large scale, this is biological treatment. I think in 2003 when Tasman spill took place in Karachi show, they used biological technique first of all to eat away the oil to degrade oil, most of the oil by bacteria. NIPG scientists were participating in it. And then the second treatment. So not only one treatment, of course, you will need different stages of treatments. And it's a large scale, of course. Yes?
Talk about the mineralized water.
Yeah.
This mineralized water is used for converting brackish water into used for agriculture sector.
From brackish water into?
Agriculture use.
This is in fact magnetic treatment. When we say magnetic technology, this is magnetic nanoparticles which are dispersed in the water and they absorb water and then they are recycled and then they are reused. So expensive, of course this is expensive. To convert brackish water by magnetic treatment to remove, this means some salinity from water is not feasible by magnetic. Magnetized water, I told, one is they can be used as anti-scaling agent. If the pipelines are being scaled, so you do some magnetize, this is very latest work. If you pass through a certain optimized magnetic field, water pass through, it inhibits its scaling ability. So for a certain period of time, and then you put another magnetic field in the plate. So it again inhibits its scaling ability. So it can continue for a continuous flow, it's possible. For removing brackish water, and since it is not very highly saline water, there are many other techniques can be used for less. Forward osmosis can be used, ultrafiltration can be used instead of reverse osmosis. You need to go for very high. Yes.
I want to ask that what is the extent of water treatment while contributing it back to the society? As in, if we consider hydrological cycle, the in and
recover the water resources. Of course, wastewater recovery is a much larger potential. It is huge. It has huge potential. I mean, whatever you use water, it is very easily convertible into reusable water. Because very ideal concept is discovered nowadays. Shell is discovering, in fact, one very ideal classification of water. They are introducing this idea that water should be classified on the basis of its chemical composition. Don't mix industrial water with the municipal wastewater. And so if you keep the industrial water separate, their issues are different. They are metals mainly. Municipal wastewater has biological or organic content. It has potential for methogenesis. So if you classify wastewater, their treatment is easy. But all over the world, it is mixed up still. Not, but in developed countries, there are certain regions or certain pockets where they do some classification. But this is called water recovery. To get water back from your wastewater at minimum cost. And that water is fit for car washing, for floor washing, for all other purposes, especially irrigation grade water. It's very easily achievable. If bath water, of course, is a sensitive, it should be medically fit. And drinking water, of course, the food water. So food water and bath water, they are more sensitized water for human being. But cleaning water is not difficult to achieve. This is possible by this technology. Electrokinetic cleaning purpose water or irrigation water is very easily achievable at less cost. Any other question?
Going back to the question that one of our friends was asking, in Pakistan there are 3 companies that I know one for sure who are selling these magnetic treatments, and what it looks like is it's basically a precious metal core through which water passes. There is no mechanical element, there is no electrical element. What exists is the water passes through this core, and they claim that the water passes through some phase transition and then it becomes usable for irrigation. Is that the basic water chemistry?
Yeah, it improves its properties. It improves its properties. It's true, because anti-scaling properties is published, proved. What they claim is their health benefits also for washing purpose. I know 2 companies of Japanese. They are in Abu Dhabi, Masdar. They were contacting us. Still, they are in contact with us, and they sent me some magnetic grains also. I have, and shower is also. They put some grains, magnetized grains. They say if you put it on the shower and then take water and the hair or everything, it's different. We didn't test it, but it's true that since water is as a molecule, it's a tiny magnet. The magnetic field, if it undergoes some magnetic field, there will be some magnetic treatment, but it will not last long. Water is not ferromagnetic material. Only ferromagnetic material maintains their magnetized properties. So it will disappear, all the magnetized properties will disappear after the passage of time. So they claim health benefits also. Anti-scaling is proven. Irrigation, I can't imagine, only some agronomist can say if it lasts for a few days or not.
I read some papers published in Iran on this technology, and they claim that through this technology, in the agriculture sector, you can improve your productivity also through magnetized water.
Yeah, that's why I told you. They say that if you take bath of this magnetized, they have a device of 2 feet height, mostly they put on in the grid line of your water, and they say if you pass to it, it will remain. But technically speaking, water will change its properties as a molecular scale. For scaling purpose, it is proven. They are using it to make the continuous flow possible during the water supply, especially in European countries where scaling is very common. Your hot water flows through the pipelines, scaling takes place. We don't have hot water lines mostly here. But to claim that it has health benefits for drinking, they say it's health water. Only doctor can prove if they do some research. Or this is irrigation grade, this is again a doctor of agronomy should say, because they are also living organisms. They are claiming that they have benefits. But water cannot retain its magnetized properties for a long time. that's why they put magnetic grid, whatever, at a certain length. After some meter, they put another magnetic field so that it continues, and it should not put some scaling or properties. But even anti-corrosion is claimed. It is. Yes, this is what we are doing. In fact, there are many factors. One is membrane. Research is going on membrane size. The second is optimized conditions. And the third is draw water. In forward osmosis, in fact, you put a draw solution and you draw a solution. Just like, for example, if I want to reclaim water from seawater, so what is the latest technique they are using? They are putting the wastewater as a draw solution. So they are diluting this wastewater. So the water flows from high concentration to low concentration, and whatever wastewater is get diluted, and then they treat it. What happens with the membrane, since it works on osmotic pressure grid, so draw solution properties affect, and there are different types of draw solution used, nanoparticles are used, or different other. So the work is going on at the moment. What is maximum LMH property, liter cubic meter per hour capacity? What is achievable is 5. We achieved 4.5. Previous system they was target for 3. We got for it. It is 5 to 7, which they said. But reverse osmosis flux is in fact more than 20. But it is energy consuming technology. It is more expensive, very expensive. So there is balance of energy, efficiency, time, applications. There are different things to have to think about. Yeah, in fact, in technology lecture we will define it. Reverse osmosis rejects brine, very concentrated NaCl. That brine is taken as a draw solution for forward osmosis. So what we take is very highly concentrated syrup-like material brine, and we put as a draw solution. Draw means to draw something. So this draw solution will draw more water from the seawater. So when we draw, you have put 1 liter of draw solution, you are getting 100 liter of total diluted solution. So because the water moves from high concentration to low concentration of water, so that's why we are drawing water with forward osmosis, and then we are treating it with again. So forward osmosis is a 2-step process in fact. So we cannot compare both techniques.
Okay, so I think it was a very, very interesting session.